Hi everybody, we're doing another study session. This will be going on for about 45 minutes. Let's do this. Test. One of the best predictors of employee turnover is absenteeism. Meta-analysis has indicated that job satisfaction and absenteeism have a low negative correlation. Porter-Lawler model of job satisfaction actually builds upon the equity theory of motivation. Both organizational commitment and job satisfaction are likely affected by numerous factors related to the job. Meta-analysis has indicated that job satisfaction and job performance are moderately positively related to each other. An example of voluntary absenteeism is missing work because of running errands. One problem with the Minnesota Satisfaction Questionnaire and the Job Description Index is that none of the above. The measurement of job satisfaction usually relies on self-report instruments because attitudes and feelings cannot be directly observed. The Minnesota Satisfaction Questionnaire asks workers to rate their levels of satisfaction with Minnesota should be 20. The approach to job satisfaction that considers job satisfaction to be composed of feelings and attitudes to the number of different elements is called the facet approach. Job Description Index asks workers to rate their levels of satisfaction to satisfaction with 5 job facets. An example of involuntary turnover would be when an employee leaves a job because he or she was fired or laid off. Turnover is related to both types of absenteeism, but that's incorrect. It's actually related to both satisfaction and organizational commitment. In most cases, job satisfaction and organizational commitment have a fairly high positive correlation. According to the Porter-Lawler model, an intervening variable between job satisfaction and job performance is intervening model job-related rewards. Turnover of employees who choose to leave their job because they are performing poorly is as classified as functional voluntary turnover. Meta-analysis has indicated that turnover is related to both types of absenteeism. Organizational commitment has often been referred to as company loyalty. The most widely used organizational commitment measured is the Organizational Commitment Questionnaire. Which of the following strategies could be referred to as job enlargement? That would be adding varied work tasks to the job. 100%. Next one. Because that was psych part 1. Up next is psych part 2. Let's do this one. Merit pay. Wait, that's not a test. Here it is. The effectiveness of relaxation techniques as coping strategies is unclear. Gain sharing is a compensation system which is based on the effective performance of groups. Merit pay will increase job satisfaction according to the Porter-Lawler model. Frank works a schedule that consists of 9-hour workday and a rotation of 4 days at work and 3 days off. This is an example of a compressed work schedule. Benefit programs have come to represent about 40% of all money paid for employee compensation. Which of the following is not a specific type of organizational citizenship behavior? That would be organizational devotion. Which benefit program has the potential of becoming one of the most popular and sought after benefits? Employee-sponsored childcare. Stress is sometimes negative and sometimes positive. Research indicates that self-efficacy is related to an individual's sense of competence and effectiveness. The relationship between stress and performance is curvilinear. Perhaps the most stressed group of workers in any organization are new employees. Worker stress resulting from a lack of control may be reduced by allowing workers to participate in decision making, raising the level of responsibility associated with the job characteristic of job enlargement. Companies and managers are mainly interested in worker stress because stress causes illness. Communication problems at work that cause stress commonly include workers feeling uninformed about organizational processes. Research has indicated that a lack of hardiness is associated with higher levels of self-perceived stress. In the same gingerbread factory, Gretel works 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Thursday, while Hansel works from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. This is an example of a compressed work schedule. John feels that his new job does not use his work-related skills. He is experiencing underutilization. Perhaps the most common way for employers to increase workers' job satisfaction is through benefit programs. A disadvantage of flex time is that it's not possible for all jobs. 95%. What did I get wrong? It was job enrichment, wasn't it? Yep. So raising the level of responsibility is job enrichment. Understood. Take a new test. Create a new test. Relationship between stress and performance is curvilinear. Responsibility associated with job characterization, job enrichment. Effectiveness of relaxation is unclear. Gingerbread Factory, Gretel and Hansel, we already answered this one. It's a compressed work schedule. Stress resulting from a feeling of lack of control is particularly common in low-level workers. Important organizational outcomes that are affected by stress include productivity and absenteeism. Right? Yes. Companies and managers are mainly interested in worker stress because stress causes illness, and if you're sick, you can't work, meaning they can't make money off you. Communication problems at work that cause stress commonly include workers feeling uninformed about organizational processes, John feeling that his new job does not use his work related skills, he is experiencing underutilization. Research has indicated that lack of hardness is associated with higher levels of self perceived stress. Perhaps the most common way for employees to increase worker job satisfaction is through benefit programs. Stress is sometimes positive and sometimes negative. A disadvantage of flex time is that it is not possible for all jobs. Benefit programs represent about 40% of all money paid for employee compensation. Merit pay will increase job satisfaction according to the Porter-Lawler model. Which benefit program has the potential of becoming one of the most popular and sought after benefits? Employee sponsored childcare. Gain sharing is a competition which is based on an individual's, the effective performance of work groups. Which of the following is not a specific type of organizational citizenship behavior, OCB? That would be organizational devotion. Research indicates that self-efficacy is related to an individual's sense of competence and effectiveness. Perhaps the most stressed group of workers in any organization is new employees. 100%. Let's go to part 3. My library, folders, psychology midterm. Test. In comparison to other models of motivation, expectancy theory is very complicated and thorough. The meaningfulness of work are still in question. Change comparison to others. Complicated and thorough. In general, organizational behavior modification has led to increases in worker motivation. Benefits, types of supervision, and base salaries are all examples of hygienes. According to McClelland's, workers who are happiest when working as a part of a team may have a need for affiliation. Which of the following is not a job enrichment strategy? That would be building a new cafeteria for employees. People who are distressed when they are perceived they are underpaid, who feel guilty when overpaid, are called equity sensitives. Research has indicated that the setting of specific challenging goals may be Setting of specific challenging goals may stimulate high quality planning by workers. According to Jackman and Oldham, skill variety, task identity, and task significance all affect workers' perception of the meaningfulness of their work. Employees who are paid on an hourly basis are being reinforced using fixed interval schedule. According to McClelland's, people who love the challenge of work have a high need of achievement. According to Herzberg, motivators are related to job content, while hygienes are related to job context. Hackman and Oldham's proposed that improving the dimensions of the 5 core job characteristics will most likely motivate workers high in growth need strength. Achievement lead to workers pass their time. Will most likely motivate achievement. Wait a minute. That seems wrong. Workers high in growth need strength. That's a good question. That is a really good question. I'm going to go with achievement for now. We'll come back to this one. Vast majority of U.S. workers are paid on which of the following schedules? That's a fixed interval schedule. In the job characteristics model, the motivating potential score is calculated by none of the above. A salesman who is paid through bonuses given when the boss can afford them is being reinforced using a variable interval schedule. A student who decides not to study for a test because getting good grades is not important is making a decision based off valiance. According to Herzberg, if an employee receives a fair wage, he or she is likely to not feel dissatisfied. Research has shown that the effects of job enrichment are still in question. An individual with a high need for power may become a successful commissioned army officer. Salesman who receives sales commission every month is being reinforced using a fixed interval schedule. Let's go back to question 12. Hackman and Oldham proposed that improving the dimensions of the five core job characteristics will most likely motivate workers' high growth needs strength. Achievement is achievement. Okay. Let's check. 95% was number 12 wrong. It was workers in growth need strength. Okay. Let's try again. Interval schedules of reinforcement are based on the passage of time. Individual with a high need for power may become successful commissioned army officer. U.S. workers are paid on which of the following reinforcement schedules? That would be a fixed interval schedule. Research has shown that the effects of job enrichment are still in question. Research has indicated that the setting of specific challenging goals may stimulate high quality planning by workers. Which of the following is not a job enrichment strategy? That would be to build a new cafeteria for employees. A student who decides not to study for a test because getting a good grade is not important is making a decision based on valence. I know it's valence, but valence sounds is easier for me to remember. In comparison to other models of motivation, expectancy theory is still, my apologies, is very complicated and thorough. People who are distressed when they are perceived underpaid and who feel guilty when overpaid are called equity sensitives. Employees who are paid on an hourly basis are being reinforced using a fixed interval schedule. Hackman and Oldham proposed that motivating the dimensions of the five core job characteristics will most likely motivate workers high in growth need strength. If a worker were experiencing overpayment and inequity, he or she may change in comparison to others. According to McClellan, workers who are happiest when working as part of a team may have a high need for affiliation. According to Hackman and Oldham, skill variety, task identity, and task significance all affect workers' perception of the meaningfulness of their work. In the job characteristics models, the motivating potential score is calculated by none of the above. Benefits, type of supervision, and base salary are all examples of hygienes. According to Herzberg, motivators are related to job content, and while hygienes are related to job context. According to McClellan, people who love the challenge of work have a high need for achievement. A salesman who is paid through bonuses when the boss can afford them is being reinforced using a variable interval schedule. In general, organization modification behavior has led to increases in worker motivation. 100%. Let's go to part 4. This is fun, you know? This is very fun. To me, it is. Test. A decision must be made quickly. The best decision strategy is autocratic. Juan is the controller at his company and as such must make sure that he and all the other managers cooperate within their budgets. The workers in Juan's department can no longer keep up with the workload and a new position is needed. However, Juan's budget does not cover the salary of an additional person. Juan's dilemma is known as role conflict. Carey is a stockbroker who is personally in favor of advising a client to invest about one-third of his money in a high-risk investment. After discussing the investment with a group of his colleagues, Carey advises the client to put more than half of his money in the high-risk investment. This process is an example of group polarization. Management at XC's company is considering a new product line that requires expertise that the current engineering group does not have. As a result, the engineering group sees management as a threat. Such perceptions of management and the enemy can lead to disruption in achieving goals. The we-they feeling refers to intergroup cohesiveness created by the existence of an external threat. This is most likely caused by another group. Ross just started a job with a new employer. According to the steps in organizational socialization before he learns about the roles he and others play in the group and make the translation to regular members, Ross must first develop realistic expectations about the organization and the job. For a cohesive group to be productive, groups must have a strong work-related norms, help out colleagues, developers. Groups must have strong work-related norms. Wanda and Bob, I should have said Cosmo, both wanted to make their department's presentation at the next stockholder meeting. Cosmo gave in to Wanda's wishes because he wanted to maintain a good relationship with Wanda. Cosmo used which of the following conflict resolution strategies? Accommodation. When the following group discussed the fact that their product had experienced some failures in the past few months, they agreed that the failures were due to misuse on the part of the customer, and that the quality manager typically overreacts to such reports. As a result, the group decided to increase production of the product without checking for defects. This is an example of collective rationalizations. Introduction of a superordinate goal usually serves to draw two competing sides together. It may not be desirable for a manager to stimulate conflict when the workers are highly productive. Which of the following is the best example of a team? That would be a crew working on making an independent film. All hearing After hearing all the ideas from her work group, Jean offers to prevent putting the ideas into action because she refuses to go along with the group. Jean would be classified as an blocker. Interorganizational conflict helps organizations compete to provide better goods and services. Jane likes to work with others on tasks at work because she has to work harder when she is working alone. It is likely that Jane is engaging in social loafing. 100%. Next one. Do the Jeopardy review one. Why not? Let's do Jeopardy review. Test. Characterized by excessive drive, competitiveness, impatience, and hostility is known as Type A behavior pattern. What could stem from having a harsh, critical boss with a punitive management style? Well, technically all of these. Introjected regulation, weight gain. These two are true. I'm going to go with interpersonal stress. Team size increases, direction and demand of leader increases. I am willing to put in a great deal of effort before not what normally expected in order to help this organization be successful. This is an example of organizational commitment. Which theory focuses on job satisfaction and dissatisfaction as two independent dimensions important in determining motivations? That's Herzberg's two-factor theory. What shape of the relationship between stress and performance? An inverted U, which is curvilinear. Which of the following associated work team A or B? The answer is B. A group of 7 people working together on a research proposal. What schedule of reinforcement leads to very high levels of motivation? Variable ratio schedule. What projected test was used by McClellan to assess an individual's motivational need? Thematic apperception test. Behaviors that benefit the company can collectively be called organizational citizenship behaviors. What is widely believed to be one of the greatest sources of work stress? Work overload. A theory states that workers are motivated to keep their work inputs in proportion to their outputs. Equity theory. Especially high in human service professions that involve helping others. Burnout. We're the best. We know the material. Okay. Home. There's no way it was only 13. It's 25, yeah. Folders. Now we'll do the actual chapter review. Let's start with 8. These are the hard ones. These are the really hard ones. But if I can do these ones, we're good. Reinforcement that follows the passage of a specified amount of time with the exact time of reinforcement varying. That's a variable interval schedule. Workers' perception that outcomes are greater than inputs. That would be overpayment inequity, which, if you're a worker, is a good thing. A motivational theory that focuses on the conditions and processes that led to self motivation and growth on the job. What? A motivational theory that focuses on the conditions and processes that led to self motivation and growth on the job. Self determination theory. Workers' perception that includes that inputs are greater than outcomes, underpayment, and inequity. This is bad if you're a worker, good if you're an employer. The need and desire for personal growth on the job. Growth needs strength. A projective test that uses ambiguous pictures to assess psychological motivation. That is the thematic apperception test. Those things that a worker expects to receive from a job, such as pay and recognition. Outcomes. Reinforcement that is contingent on the performance of a fixed number of behaviors. Fixed ratio schedule. The force that energizes, directs, and sustains behavior. Motivation. Application of conditioning principles to obtain certain work outcomes. Organizational behavior modification. Events that strengthen a behavior through the avoidance of an existing negative state. Negative reinforcers. Persons used as a basis in comparison in making judgments of equity and inequity. That's comparison others. Elements related to job content that, when present, lead to job satisfaction. Job content. Because we know motivators are... No, because content is hygiene. Right? Or was it context that was hygiene? No. Job content. That's part of the work itself. Motivators. Because hygienes would be pay, which is context. Motivational program that involves redesigning jobs to give workers a greater role in planning, execution, and evaluation of the work. Job characteristics model. Theory that workers are motivated to reduce perceived inequities between work inputs and outputs. Equity theory. Desirable events that strengthen the tendency to respond. Positive reinforcers. It's like, hey, brush your teeth, and I'll give you $1. I don't know why. Motivation theory proposed by Maslow that arranges needs in a hierarchy from lower, more basic needs to higher order needs. No, needs hierarchy theory. Depends on the performance of a specified but varying number of behaviors. Variable ratio schedule. Perceived relationship between the individual's effort and the performance of a behavior. The perceived relationship between the individual's efforts and performance of a behavior. Valence? No. That's because he didn't believe in it. Yeah, it is, because if he doesn't study and he gets bad grades, that's valence. Because in reality, not studying and getting bad grades are completely unrelated. Some people are just that smart. Some people are just stupid and they can study all day and still fail. But they perceive that they're doing better. Valence. Role that certain aspects of jobs play in influencing work motivation. Certain aspects of jobs play. That means that this one above is wrong. Planning, execution, evaluation. That's job enlargement. Wait. Let's try it out. This is probably a fail. Yep, it's a fail. It was job enrichment, wasn't it? Yep, job enrichment. What was the other fail? Expectancy. Okay. Enrichment and expectancy. Try a new test. Positive reinforcers. Elements related to job content that present satisfaction. Job content. Motivators. Motivation is the force that energizes directs state behavior. That is the definition of motivation. Theory that behavior is motivated by its consequences. Reinforcement theory. Reinforcement that depends on the performance of a specified but varying number of behaviors. Variable ratio schedule. Core job characteristics. That's a job description index. No, it's not. It's a questionnaire. Job diagnostic survey. Cognitive theory of motivation that states that workers have the expected costs and benefits of particular courses before they are motivated to take action. Costs and benefits. And they want it to be the same. Equity theory. Reinforcement that follows the passage of a specified amount of time. Fixed. Variable. Interval. Theory that workers are motivated to reduce perceived inequities between work inputs and outcomes. Equity theory. Efficiencies that an organism is compelled to fulfill. Needs. Related to job context. When absent, cause dissatisfaction. Contexto. Hygiene. Aldelfer's motivational model that categorizes needs into existence, relatedness, and growth needs. ERG theory. Worker perception of outcome are greater than input. Overpayment and equity. Motivational theory that focuses on the conditions and processes that lead to self-motivation and growth in the job. Self-determination theory. Ones of an existing negative state, negative reinforcers. Desire and need for personal growth in the job, growth needs strength. Reinforcement that is contingent on the performance of a fixed number of behaviors, fixed ratio schedule. Perceived relationship between performance of a particular behavior and the likelihood of receiving a particular outcome. Expectancy. Two-factor theory. Model for motivation that emphasizes the importance of three needs. That's the achievement motivation theory. What the hell? Expectancy theory. Wait. A cognitive theory of motivation that states that workers weigh expected costs and benefits in a particular courses before they are motivated to take action. That's expectancy theory. Instrumentality, the perceived relationship between the performance of a particular behavior and the likelihood of receiving a particular outcome. Setting specific and challenging performance goals, goal setting theory. McClelland's model of motivation that emphasizes the importance of three needs. Achievement motivation theory. Perceived relationship between the performance of a particular behavior and the likelihood of receiving a particular outcome. Instrumentality? Word? That doesn't make sense, but sure. Cognitive theory of motivation that states that workers weigh expected costs and behavior particular before they are motivated to take action. That's expectancy theory, apparently. Motivation theory that focuses on the conditions of the present that led to the self-motivation on one's job. That's self-determination theory. Projective tests that use ambiguous pictures to assess psychological motivation. Thematically appreciation test. Force that drives, directs, sustains behavior. Defining motivation. Worker expects to receive from a job such as pay and recognition. Outcomes. Force that energizes, directs, and sustains behavior. Motivation. Unpleasant consequences that reduce the tendency to respond. Batsu. Alderfer's motivational model that categorizes needs into existence, related, and growth needs. ERG theory. The need and desire for personal growth on the job. Growth needs strength. Perception that outcomes are greater than inputs. Overpayment. Theory that behavior is motivated by its consequences. Reinforcement theory. Passage of specified amount of time with exact time of reinforcement varying. Variable interval schedule. Outcome of an individual desirability. Valence. Elements related to job context that when present lead to job satisfaction. content motivators. Theory that workers are motivated to reduce perceived inequities between work inputs and outcomes. Equity theory. Worker perception that inputs are greater than outcomes. Underpayment. Performance specified varying number of behaviors. That is an interval ratio. %, baby. We're making good progress. We have 15 minutes though. Can I do this in 15 minutes? Word? I'd be happy if I could. I mean, we're almost done. Self-reported intentions to leave their job. The number of intentions. Significant events in a person's recent history that cause stress. Stressful life events. The psychological and psychological reactions. The physiological or psychological reactions to events that are perceived to be threatening or taxing. That's a definition of a stressor. Compensation system based on the effective group performance. That is a gain sharing. Deviant negative behaviors that are harmful to an organization and its workers. That is counterproductive work behaviors. System of compensation in which workers are paid based on their knowledge and skills rather than their position in the organization. Skill-based pay. Plan where all employees receive a small share of an organizational profits. Profit sharing. I feel I am positively influencing other people's lives throughout my work. That's job enlargement. I feel I'm positively influencing. That's personal accomplish. A schedule that commits an employee to working a specified number of hours per week but offers flexibility in regards to the beginning and ending times of each day. That is a flex time. Right? I think so. Extension of a job to include additional, more varied work tasks. Job enlargement. Schedules that decrease the number of days in the work week while increasing the number of hours worked per day. That's a compressed work week. Because it's still the same amount of work, just in less days. The match between the worker's abilities, needs, and values and the organizational demands, rewards, and values. Wait. That's an equation. Person minus environment fit times fit. Views job satisfaction as an overall construct. Global approach definition. This is dick. This is douchey. This is douchey. Even if I get this wrong, I'm gonna count it as right. I'm assuming it's not one of these two. Involves the psychological and or physiological reactions. That's a stressor. Bound to an organization win exchange for a reward. Oh, that's golden handcuffs. Personality characteristic characterized by excessive drive, competitiveness. That's type A. Stress arising from difficulties with others in the workplace. Interpersonal stress. I feel like I am at the end of my rope. That's emotional exhaustion. A syndrome resulting from prolonged exposure to work stress that leads to withdrawal from an organization. Burnout. Notion that some people may be more resistant to health damaging effects of stress. Hardiness, baby. Hardiness. Worker stress. Okay. I was wrong on this one. I knew it. Okay, I got 95%. Significant event in a person's recent history that can cause stress. Stressful life events. Satisfaction made up of individual elements or facets. How satisfied are you with boss equipment, compensation, and separate elements of the work? Facet approach to job satisfaction. Environmental and that is perceived by an individual to be threatening. That's a stressor definition. It views job satisfaction as an overall construct. To what extent are you satisfied with the job location overall? Overall would be a global approach. Self-report job satisfaction rating scale measuring 5 job characteristics. That is the job descriptive index. Theory that the relationship between job satisfaction and performance is not mediated by work-related rewards. That's Porter Lawler. A system of compensation in which workers are paid based on their knowledge and skills rather than the positions of the organization. Skill-based pay. Source of stress resulting from lack of cleanly defined jobs and or work tasks. Job ambiguity. Consists of positive and negative feelings and attitudes about one's job. Satisfaction. The employee engagement goes up if job satisfaction goes up. Difficulties, in other words, in the workplace, that would be interpersonal stress. Satisfaction is an overall construct. Global approach definition. Hold on. Yep. A personality characterized by excessive drive, competitiveness, impatience as type A behavior pattern. Cumulative stress that results from duties of work and family roles. That would be more family overload. Schedule that commits to employee working a specific number of hours per week, but offers flexibility in regards to beginning at any time, so it's a flex time. I feel I treat some recipients as if they were impersonal objects. That's depersonalization. Positive emotions that affect mood in the workplace. Positive affect. Stress arising from certain conditions that exist in the work environment or in workers' personal life. What? I'm gonna go with situational stress. Hmm. I feel I am positively influencing others' lives through my work. That's personal accomplishment. Facet approach. Yeah, okay. This counts as 100% because this is bullshit. Okay, one final one, and that would be chapter 12. I got 7 minutes. We have time. Options. What are the difference? Tendency for groups to make decisions that are more extreme than those made by individuals. Groupthink. Conflict between two people. That's inter-individual conflict. No, that's something else. Intra-group think. Intra-group conflict. No. Inter-individual. Conflict that results when the expedition associated with one role interfere with the expedition concerning another role. Role conflict. Process whereby group members are pitted against each other one by one to achieve individual goals. Competition. Withdrawing from or avoiding a conflict situation. Avoidance. Beliefs concerning the responsibilities and requirements of a particular role. Role expectations. Teams have complete responsibility over whole tasks. That would be a self-managed team. conflict resolution strategy in which the parties cooperative to reach a solution that satisfies both. Compromise. Rules that groups adopt governing appropriate and inappropriate behavior for members. Norms. Process by which group members learn to perform various roles. Role expectation. No. I think that's role differentiation because role expectation was used earlier. Yeah, this would be differentiation. Group efficacy. Tendency for persons to pay back those whom they are indebted to for assistance. Reciprocity rule. Process by which group decisions are made by the leader alone based on the information the leader possesses. Autocratic decision making. Goal that two conflicting parties are willing to work to obtain. That's a superordinate goal. Blocking progress, seeking recognition, dominating, and winning conflict. Those are the self-centered roles. Conflict resolution strategy for making a sacrifice to resolve a conflict. Accommodation. Strategy which decisions are made by the group members based on majority rule voting, democratic decision making. Conflict that occurs within a group or a team. Intra-group conflict. Conflict resolution strategy, making a sacrifice to resolve a conflict. Compromise. Could be accommodation, but it's compromise. Because the other one's accommodation. Why do I have two of the same question? A conflict resolution strategy of making a sacrifice to resolve a conflict. A conflict resolution strategy of making a sacrifice to resolve a conflict. Accommodation. Could be compromise though. Syndrome characterized by a concurrent seeking tendency that overrides the ability of cohesive group to make critical decisions. Groupthink. Well, but if that's the case, then what's this one above? Group polarization. What did I mess up on? Self-managing collaboration. Okay, this is the same. This is the only one I got wrong, really. Hold on. Compromise here, but accommodation here. Resolve a conflict. I think this is a bugged Quizlet. I only got one wrong here. Collaboration. That's going to be all for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. Study for your exams.